Hi there. Welcome back to Paying IT Forward, where we look to demystify IT for professionals and businesses. I'm your host, Obi, and today we'll be talking about three major signs that you need to reconsider your operating strategy. Now, I just want to start off this video by saying that the content we'll be talking about with regards to your operating strategy is important no matter what stage you are at as a business. Even as a startup, you do need an operating strategy. And while I can appreciate that your operating strategy will be focused on your product or service offering to your customers or to your market, in making sure that you have a valuable offering and, you have a feasible and sustainable way and profitable way to deliver this to your customers, you still need an operating strategy, and it's very important to pay attention to it. Now, that operating strategy and getting it right becomes more important the more complex things are, the bigger your business grows as you scale up your business. So it's definitely important. You save yourself a lot of technical debt the earlier you pay attention to your operating strategy and you get it right. So it's very important. So this video is important to you as a business, no matter what stage you're at. Now, please stay tuned to the end of the video where I'll give tips on how you can improve and review your operating strategy if you're facing any of the signs that we talk about here in this video. Hope you enjoy the content. Now, to start off, what exactly is your operating strategy? Um, as a business, you would have defined your goals, your vision, the things you want to achieve for your customers. Now, your operating strategy is all about how you organize your resources as a business to meet those goals for your end users, for your customers, for your market. It's as simple as that. It's a high level document as well, and high level decisions that you make as a business that allows you to meet those goals. Now, it's a bit different from what you would call your operating model. Your operating model is a representation of your operating strategy. So you have at a higher level what you're trying to achieve, or how you're going to organize yourself as a business in your operating strategy. And you have your operating model that represents how you execute your operating strategy. Hope that makes sense. So, the first sign we're going to talk about for reconsidering your operational strategy is when you, as a business, you don't have an operational roadmap. Now, an operational roadmap is very useful. An operational roadmap captures the actions, the initiatives you're going to execute as a business to establish your operating model, to execute your operating strategy. And not having an operational roadmap means that you are not intentional enough about executing your operating strategy. It also means that your operating strategy probably doesn't have enough depth. So if you look at your operational strategy as what you want to achieve and you don't have a plan for achieving that, that means you're probably you're doing something wrong. You're flying blind, or you're probably not. It calls into question of if you're actually making progress in meeting the goals you have set for your customers, and the goals you have, if you're effectively meeting the long or mid-term goals you have as a business. So it's a very important sign, not having an operational roadmap. Your operational roadmap also captures why you are doing the initiatives that you have on there, and also accommodates prioritization of these different initiatives that are going to be within your operational roadmap. So, for example, having an operational roadmap that is prioritized means that you have a good grasp of what is important to you as a business, what is more important or what is less important to you as a business for you to do. And it also means that you've taken the time to consider dependencies as well. So some of the reasons that change projects fail in certain organizations, even if they have an operating strategy, is because there has been no proper consideration of dependencies. So, for example, a company is executing project B without first establishing or executing project A, because there's a dependency for B to be successful for A to be in place, if that makes sense. So this is the reason why a lot of change projects fail, even if, or you have scope creep in projects, because you're doing project B and then you realize, oh, for project B to actually work, project A needed to have been in place or needed to have been executed. So this is why it's very important for you to have an operational roadmap, because it doesn't only capture what you need to do, it captures why you need to do it in terms of priorities and in terms of dependencies. So an operational roadmap is super important. Now, a common justification I've heard from senior executives in some cases for not having an operational roadmap is this whole concept of being agile. I just wanted to take this opportunity to clear up that confusion or clear up that misguided notion. Now, being agile doesn't mean you don't have a plan. Being agile means that you have a plan that accommodates for flexibility and accommodates for the unknown. So, for example, an agile plan in executing agile in an agile environment, you still have a plan, but you do not establish specifics on that plan that could change or are not guaranteed. So you have a plan, but that plan is flexible and it accommodates change. It's as simple as that. But being agile doesn't mean you don't have a plan, which effectively is your operational roadmap. Being agile does not mean you cannot have an operational roadmap. So I hope that clears that up. Thank you. Now, the second sign we're going to be talking about today for reconsidering your operational strategy is when you do not have effective oversight on your operations, on what is going on in your business. Now, today I'll speak about that with regards to when things are not documented in your business effectively, and when you don't have effective governance in your business. Now, when things are not documented, that means you don't know how things work. There is no blueprint or guide effectively for how things should work, or for an established process for task for an activity. Things are not effectively documented how things work. And governance has more to do with frameworks or things you put in place to ensure that things go or happen the way that you plan for them to happen. You don't have effective governance over your processes, means that processes there's no control put in place to ensure that processes go a certain way or follow specific steps. So it's a very, very important sign that you need to reconsider your operational strategy. Now, not having effective oversight through documentation and governance means that you probably have a lot of inefficiencies in your business that you are not aware of, which is probably creating technical debt or draining your finances in one way or the other. Another thing is that if you do not have effective oversight through documentation and governance in your business, means that there are a lot of risks in your business that you are not aware of. So there are probably unwanted events that could happen in your business that you're not aware of. And this is sort of what happens a lot of times. there's always some sort of chaos, there's always some sort of firefighting. Something happens and you can't see it coming because you don't know what is happening. So having a good sense of documentation, and governance, it means that you have good oversight of your business. It means that you're executing an operational strategy. This documentation and governance is very related to not having an effective roadmap, because the things that come from governance and things being effectively documented, knowing what's going on in your business, means is good input for your operational roadmap. It helps you prioritize what you need to have in your operational roadmap as well. So both are very much related. Not having good oversight in your business, through effective documentation, through having, a standard set of operating procedures, having clarity about responsibilities and, collaboration within your businesses through processes, is a major sign that you really need to consider your operating strategy. Now, the third and final sign we'll be talking about for reconsidering your operational strategy is when you are very reactive to operational change. Now, what does this look like? When you're very reactive to operational change means that there's always some sort of crisis in your business that sort of always trying to resolve. Things come out of nowhere. Your data reporting is not very stable. Data reports and dashboards, which should be somewhat stable, are constantly changing. People are coming up with different ways that they want to sort of view the business, and the cadence of that change is just a bit too much. And you have a feel for this in your business. It's not to say you cannot change what you're monitoring, but it should be somewhat stable, at least for certain periods of time. You have new projects, that are coming up from everywhere. You can't sort of plan for your capacity because, you're completely reactive. Something is broken today, you have to sort of react and solve that. Something breaks for your customers, you find out, oh, we need to do this for compliance reasons, such and such. You can't see things coming, you can't see trends coming, you can't see anything coming. You're completely reactive. This is what it looks like when you're flying blind, and it is a major sign that you need to really reconsider your operating strategy, your operational strategy. Now, what is the effect of this? When you are in this situation, it really calls to question your effectiveness for change or your effectiveness in executing your operating strategy. And why is this the case? Now, when you're doing anything and you don't have enough time to plan for it, you don't tend to do that thing very well. When you're not proactive, you don't tend to be as effective. So change projects come, for example, and because you're sort of rushed into it, you have no real sense of what success for that change project looks like. You might be addressing a symptom of a problem rather than the root cause of a problem, with a change project, which sometimes, results in wasted effort or misguided effort, for example, which you don't want to do. So these are some of the effects of when you're reactive to change and why you want to avoid them as well. And I think the other thing to mention is that when you're reactive and things are constantly coming up is a sign that you have technical debt that you're unaware of. That means there's so much backlog of things that you have to do and redo in your business that you have no oversight of. And, that's not a great place to be as a business. There's always going to be some form of technical debt when you're operating a business, something you have to do. But when you have oversight, or you have a grasp of what that technical debt is or how much it is or where it's coming from, you're in a much better place as a business. Thank you. Now, today we've spoken about three major signs that you need to reconsider your operating strategy. The first thing we spoke about is where you do not have an operational roadmap in place. I think this is a clear sign that you are not intentional enough about executing your operating strategy or establishing your operating model. It's a sign that you're flying blind. It's a sign that you do not have a good enough grasp of the priorities you have as a business, what you need to put in place for your customers in meeting your mid to long-term goals. And it also means you do not have a good enough grasp of the dependencies you have operationally in your business, which can be very risky, leading you to initiate or, execute or try to execute the wrong project at the wrong time, or execute the right project for the wrong reasons, all leading to wasted effort, which is something you definitely try to avoid. The second thing we've spoken about is not having good enough oversight of what's happening operationally in your business. And we focused on, where things are not effectively documented, where you do not have established standard operating procedures, or also where you don't have good governance around, the processes and the people and the technology functionalities that you have in place. You have no good feedback loop, for making sure that things go the way they should go, and you are able to get feedback so you can make continuous improvements through governance. It's definitely a place you don't want to be, because it's a sign that you have a lot of inefficiencies in your business that you're not aware of, and you have a lot of risks in your business, which could lead to unwanted events that potentially could be catastrophic, which you definitely also want to avoid. The third thing we've spoken about as a sign that you need to reconsider your operating strategy is where you find yourself being too reactive to operational change, where, for example, your data reporting or dashboards are very unstable. You're constantly changing the metrics that you should, that you have as a business. Not to say change is not important, but if that cadence of that change is a bit too frequent, you would have a sense of this, where projects are coming out of nowhere. You're having to sort of quench fires that are coming up through projects. Something is broken here, you can't see anything coming, and you're just being completely reactive. You cannot plan for your capacity in the business operationally. You can't measure success effectively with change projects because you've jumped into it. You don't know what success should look like. You're not measuring that before and after the project to have a sense of how successful your change projects are. So these are not all places you want to be. All these signs are signs that you are not effective, intentional enough about executing your operating strategy, and you're effectively flying blind and wasting a lot of time and effort where you could be a lot more effective. So I think that's it for today's video. I also mentioned that I'll be, giving the top tip for resolving these signs if you're facing them as a business. And the top tip for that is you really need to consider implementing enterprise architecture in your business. Enterprise architecture is a capability in your business that would really accommodate for really mitigate these sort of things in your business. It's a structured approach, it's tried and tested, and it's proven. It works. And it's not as simple as getting one man into your business. It's a whole framework that manages changes and supports your operational strategy and puts your business in a position to be successful through a well-implemented operational strategy, a well-executed operational strategy. One of the reasons a lot of companies fail is because there is no alignment between what they're executing or what's being implemented in the business versus the strategy. Enterprise architecture has a lot of elements that account for this, and ensure there's alignment between your strategy and execution. So it's definitely something you need to consider, and I encourage you to do that as a business today if you are experiencing any of the signs we've spoken about. Now, thank you for watching today's video as well. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and engage in the comment section. Like I said, it is very useful and it allows me to understand better what sort of content to put out there and how I can make my content more valuable to you. And don't forget to subscribe. It's PITF with OB on all social media platforms. So don't forget to share, and don't forget to stay tuned to our content. Now, until the next time, take care.